The Pro Bowlers Tour makes a return visit to Wichita, Kansas for the Brunswick Circuit Pro Bowling Classic, the 6th of 8 ESPN Fall Tour telecasts. The 1998 PBA Tour has now become the Walter Ray Williams Jr. Tour. Hop aboard and watch the greatest player in the game. The player ranked #1 for 70 consecutive tournaments. Walter won earlier this year in Erie, Pennsylvania. He then won the U.S. Open. And on the Fall Tour, he's captured 3 of the first 5 events. Now, Deadeye has his sights set on his 3rd straight PBA Singles Championship. A win tonight, and Williams will become just the 2nd player in PBA history to achieve that feat. For the 3rd consecutive year, the top players in the game are in Wichita at North Rock Lanes for the Brunswick Circuit Pro Bowling Classic. And an interesting finals field of 5 we have for you tonight. In that number 5 position, a rookie looking for his very first PBA win, Robert Smith. In the number 4 spot, he's won 3 national titles, 2 senior championships, Dale Eagle. The winner of that opening match takes on the top player of the game, looking for his 30th PBA victory, Walter Ray Williams Jr. In the number 2 spot, in search of his first title, Ryan Shafer. And the player they're all trying to beat, he won earlier on the Fall Tour, Norm Duke. Hi, everyone. I'm Phil Ferguson. Certainly glad to have you by for the next 90 minutes or so on this special presentation of the Fall Tour on ESPN. Always great to come back here to Wichita to North Rock Lanes. And kind of interesting, Veterans Day. We do have a veteran in the field, Vietnam vet Dale Eagle in that number 4 spot. Veterans being the operative word, because in the Fall Tour, veterans have taken over. Speaking of veteran, my partner Marshall Holman. And Marsh, when you talk about this field, 3 players, should they win tonight, would then get into the TFC next week, but a tough road to go. Number 1, Norm Duke. Number 3, Walter Ray Williams Jr.
Well, and as we said from week 1, Walter Ray Williams continues to dominate the PBA Tour, the Fall Tour, and this week he has the opportunity to win his 3rd consecutive singles title in a row. Now that'll tie him with Johnny Petraglia. He's the only 2 players ever to win 3 consecutive singles titles. Also a win here tonight, and the great Walter Ray Williams Jr. He's said it many times, he wants to have more first place finishes than second place finishes. He has 29 firsts, 30 seconds. He can even that up tonight as well. And let's take a look at some of the stats, the money, the average, the points, the top 5s, the top 24s. Cash is 5th, but first everywhere else. And speaking of first, he's won 5 PBA titles this year. A chance tonight to win his 6th. He's leading that category as well. Now, Norm Duke, he's our number 1 seeded player this week. And it was just 3 weeks ago when Norm Duke won in Rochester. Norm Duke has the ability to throw the ball very straight. He can also hook the lane when necessary. Norm Duke is certainly going to be a very tough competitor this evening for whoever makes it to that final match. But don't pencil in Walter Ray Williams' name quite yet for that title match. There are 3 players who have something to say about that. Let's get to the first 2 right now.
And boy, a nice crowd here at North Rock Lanes, Wichita, Kansas, for this live telecast of the Brunswick Circuit Pro Bowling Classic. Just great to have you by. And it's going to be interesting. This first match, you have a kid, a rookie, going up against a player in Dale Eagle that competes mainly on the senior tour and has won a couple of senior championships this year. The first shot offhand of Robert Smith. Oh, and he sets it in there. Beautiful shot to start this match. And a couple of weeks ago, Marshall, we saw maybe more of a tentative Robert Smith. Not tonight.
Well, take a look at this opening shot. High backswing, plants that foot and just releases with all his might. Look at the ball hooked back into the pocket. Great opening shot. We'll see a little different delivery out of Dale Eagle. Much straighter trajectory. Fortunate just to lead the 4 and the 7.
So Dale Eagle, been a member of the PBA for 35 years, 5'10". 52, but I tell you what, he can compete with the young guys. And showed it this week.
He's been proving that.
Picks up the spare. And we can see some excitement out of Dale Eagle.
Well, Dale's a very animated player. If he starts throwing some strikes, he'll certainly give you a show, and I'm kind of looking forward to that.
High game this week of 280, 166 low game. There you have it. He's cashed in 7 of 14 events. Second frame. Solid 9.
And a shot we would expect to see out of Robert Smith. Not really what you would think from Dale Eagle. Watch the straight arm swing. Good solid release. Ball's just going to creep a little bit high, and the ball goes past the 9-pin. Hard and straight. Picks up the 9-pin.
Robert Smith has a good shot at Rookie of the Year honors this year.
Well, it's really between Robert Smith and Wichita's own Chris Barnes. With a win here tonight, Robert would have clipped Mr. Barnes.
Smith with a double. He's cashed 6 times this year and starts off this first match with a double. And once again, it looks like a more determined Robert Smith.
We take a look at the power of Robert Smith. He just drives right through these pins. You know, Robert made our telecast earlier in the year. Didn't fare well. Lost to Himmler.
Started off this week 26, moved up. Third frame. Oh, he's got the crowd pumped up here in Wichita.
Let's take a look at a new angle we've got. Watches the ball comes down. Projects the ball well out in the lane. Dale Eagle back up on lane 32.
Playing a little tighter line and left the 10-pin standing.
It's set too early.
And what he means by it's set too early was he wants the ball to stop hooking in the back end, but it stopped a little bit early. Didn't enter the pocket at the right angle.
Picks up the spare, and Eagle had some problems against Robert Smith. Lost 255 to 234 in match play.
That ball set a little bit early.
Always loose. Nothing bothers Dale Eagle, and we've got both the players mic'd tonight.
Well, you can guarantee that Dale Eagle is going to talk a lot more than Robert Smith.
Come on, baby.
Oh, he turned that one, got it to finish on the back end.
52 years young, Dale Eagle.
Dale Eagle with a strike in the 4th frame, and we've got a dandy of a first match here in the Brunswick Circuit Pro Bowling Classic. Robert Smith up in this first game, throwing nothing but strikes.
Got a 22-pin lead over Dale Eagle, and he certainly would like to make it 32. Doesn't want to have to make that clutch shot at the back end of the game, but like to get it over early.
4th frame for Smith.
Will it get back?
Oh, was there a doubt?
Well, there had been a doubt if it was anybody else's ball but Robert Smith. What a truck he throws.
Just want to let you know, a $10,000 extra paycheck should he toss a 300 in this first game. Rookie of the Year. Well, it is a 2-player race.
Well, it certainly is. Between Chris Barnes, who's certainly been the more consistent of the players. Look at 13 top 24 finishes. But Robert Smith with a chance to make a statement here in Wichita tonight. I'll tell you, I envy the way that ball rolls down the lane. Take a look at those poor pins. Not much of a chance. And those are the 3-pound, 10-ounce.
What makes it look like
pro pins.
Nerf pins almost. Dale Eagle up in the 5th.
It's got to stop.
I played it tight. I played it tight, but it didn't hold. Thought I had it.
Left the single pin.
It was close.
4-pin. A win today by Dale Eagle or Robert Smith or Ryan Shafer. That would qualify them for next week's Brunswick World Tournament of Champions at Incredible in Overland Park, Kansas. Currently 57 eligible players for 59 spots. Dale Eagle with a spare in the 5th.
Yeah, I need a little bit more fingers out there, Eagle.
Well, there goes my job.
Needs some strikes. He liked it off his hand.
Well,
Left a 10-pin.
I was
You can see the 6 pin
this one to the veteran.
right around the 10.
Boy, and Dale's bowled well on this TV pair. 4 games, averaged 242. A Vietnam vet
One time, baby.
to receive the Purple Heart. And Eagle now has to get going. 97 through 5 frames, and Robert Smith, nothing but strikes as the Eagle gets going.
I think Robert Smith would like the Eagle to sit down for a sec and allow the young man to do his work.
Smith, 5 strikes to start this match. Make it 6. And now time for Dexter footwork of the pros. Here's my partner, Marshall Holman.
Well, we take a look at Robert Smith. He's got a 5-step approach. You know, he starts the ball a little late, more toward his 3rd step. There goes the push away. Now watch the way he loads it up at the top and really unleashes at the bottom of the swing. Nice slide, perpendicular to the foul line, and it's power personified.
That is the Dexter footwork of the pros. Smith, all strikes. Through 6. He's bowled very well on this television pair. 3 games, averaging 237. Oh, yeah. 7 in a row for Robert Smith.
And it's not too early to start talking about 300 with Robert Smith. Watch the ball. Look how close it comes to the channel and just drives. Look at the 6-pin drive into that 10. And a very, almost surprisingly happy Robert Smith.
He's got it cooking. Here in the first game, Dale Eagle up in the 7th, trails by a lot.
Come on, baby.
Well, right now, Dale Eagle with a possible 237 game. He finds himself 63 pins down, but still having a good time out there.
Eagle with 3 national championships, a couple of senior titles, trails by
That's pretty good.
63. It's tough to trail by 63 after 7 frames, and you haven't punched an open yet.
Yeah, Dale's bowled a quality game, has not had the carry. Really the only bad shot in the first frame. He's having fun now. He's giving 5s to all the Wichita Shockers. Those are all the youngsters from the bowling team. And there's Jean. That's Dale's wife. She approves.
So a double for Eagle, but it's Robert Smith who has the first 7 strikes. A little extra time for Smith, the rookie, 24 years old, recently got married. Back on May 16th at dawn.
Well, we've got 4 more strikes, Bill, and it's $10,000.
Come on.
Here comes his ball. We know it doesn't go in the channel. It looks like it's going to, and just kind of politely tickles him over with the power.
That's $2,500 a strike here for Smith up in the 9th frame. And he defeated Mike Scroggins 276 to 217 in last night's final match play game to make the show. He was out of it.
He was in 10th place, went from 10th to 5th, an incredible finish.
9th frame for Robert Smith.
Oh, I see that a little hard. Over-energized for Robert. The ball comes in light. Well, take a look. He just got a little too much speed on the ball, and that's one of the problems he occasionally has. The ball doesn't get back up to the pocket. There's the 2-pin. There's the 4-pin, and he's disappointed, but he's pleased that he's going to win this match.
Well, that's all right, Robert. It's $15,000 for 300 next game. So first 8 strikes, then a spare in the 9th, but it's all Robert Smith here in match 1, and we'll be back to finish out this match coming up in a minute.
Roll hard there.
And a player that bowls both on the national and senior tour is Dale Eagle. Down. In fact, it's over. But Eagle has thrown a nice game. Has not had an open. 4 9 counts, an 8 count to start the match, and he's working on a double here up in the 9th.
Come on, baby. Yeah.
Still running him out.
There's the famous Eagle call, well, his famous Eagle call, and you can see the tail does have a lot of fun when he bowls, and it's good to see him do well this week. Unfortunately, it'll be 5th for Dale. Robert Smith, the worst he can do is 238. The best Dale can do, 237.
Dale owns the Senior Tour's 8-game scoring record, 2087. That averages out to 260 for 8 games. So he can line them up 4 in a row, and he can go off the sheet here for 237.
Now he's directing them. Hey, Eagle, it's the 10th frame. You can bowl again. Dale got a little confused there.
You get a bonus ball. You get that first strike, and back you get 2. Dale. Oh, the crowd loves him. So with a spare, he'll have 226, and Robert Smith could strike out for 278, and Smith will move on. He's got to think about the next game and about Walter Ray Williams, Jr.
We'd certainly like to start out the same way against Walter, and he may need, oh my gosh, now here he really goes.
Ah, Eagles flying high on the ball return.
Thank you.
Kids, don't try that at home.
Looks like Dale's looking for Sports Center.
1, 2.
That is way too funny.
Robert enjoys it. Oh, beautiful looking shot from this young kid.
You okay?
So Smith, the winner of this opening match, and will now face Walter Ray Williams, Jr.
Robert Smith at 6 foot tall, 220 pounds. He's a real powerhouse, and look at those pins go.
The knockout punch. Provided, however, by Robert Smith as the Eagle coming up. But the Eagle has landed. He's out. Back with more in a minute. And the final score of match 1 here in the Brunswick Circuit Pro Bowling Classic, 278 to 226. Robert Smith, the rookie, over Dale Eagle. He will now take on Walter Ray Williams, Jr. So, Marshall, big match, an interesting match, and let's take a look at some of the other finishers.
All right, finishing 6th. He left a solid 10 in the 10th frame to miss. Brian Leclerc made a great shot. Jason Hurd also had an excellent chance to make the top 5. He slipped in the late stages of the last game. Dave Watka, you saw him on our telecast a few weeks ago. He finishes 8th. And Tommy Baker from Buffalo, New York, having a good finish. Mike Scroggins, the only lefty in our finals. He's in 10th place. And Jeff Lizzie, he dropped all the way from 6th to 11th in the last game. Tough break for Jeff. There's Chris Barnes from Wichita, the man who would like to be Rookie of the Year. And Butch Soper, our stat man up here helping us out.
Oh, yeah, and Butch picked up the 710 this week. Not bad. All right, match 2. Robert Smith against Walter Ray Williams, Jr. Interesting what Walter Ray Williams said to us before the telecast tonight.
Well, he just wants to take it one shot at a time. He's not really thinking about the 3 in a row. He's not thinking about Player of the Year, and that's why you win.
First shot.
Game is on.
You heard him say it. The game is on, and that was a big shot for Robert Smith because that's the same lane. He came in light in the 9th frame, and what he did was he just backed down on his speed just a little bit, Phil, enabled him to get solid in the pocket as we take a look at Walter Ray Williams, Jr., a weekly fixture on our tour.
Walter Ray with a strike. They met for the title earlier on this year in Coram, New York, and Walter Ray Williams, what can you say, going for win number 30. He's cashed in 18 of 24 events, made the top 24 17 of those tournaments, and here he is again in the top 5.
All you can say is that he is the best player on our tour today, and in my all-time top 3 of modern era players.
That leaves that 10 pin. You probably have to put Earl Anthony up there, and who? Mark Roth.
Mark Roth. Those are the players I put up there in that very, very lofty list.
So both players starting off with a strike. And then Walter Ray with a 10-pin.
And you know, it's a lot different, and I'm not saying anything against Dale Eagle, but it's different for Robert Smith to be bowling against Walter Ray Williams Jr. because he is the man out here on tour right now. Here he is with a chance to take an early lead, would be ever so big for the youngster.
Oh, yeah. Got the trailer and kicks out the 10.
What a shot that was. Robert Smith leaves the solid 10, but he got a little messenger help. Let's take a look. Ball solid in the pocket. There's a 6 going around the 10. I think that was a headpin coming back, and wow. You don't see that very often, Phil.
No, don't walk by.
Smith looking for his first national title. He has 3 regional titles. Once again, a win today will qualify him for next week's TFC high game. 279 this week for Robert Smith.
Confidence is oozing out of him right now.
Well, I said this game here, it's worth $15,000 for a 300. Maybe he's storing up. Maybe wait
now. Here's Robert Smith, and the confidence, as I said, is just brimming right now. Walter Ray to answer back.
Hammers that 9-pin home, and Walter Ray strikes, spares, strike, down by 20.
We'll take a look at a solid shot from Walter Ray. Everything does the job. Ball touches the 9. 10 pins are gone. Now, we mentioned earlier that Walter Ray could be only the second player to win 3 consecutive singles titles. Mark Roth actually did win 3 tournaments in a row, but one of them was a doubles.
And it was with,
well, it was with me, but a while ago.
10-pin for Walter, and
yeah, he left the ringing 10 in the second frame. This time it's the half pocket 10. Walter's got to be wondering what to do to carry the left lane. And really another break for Robert Smith. Did you see Walter 8-3 championship matches?
so Walter A. Williams strikes, spare, but it's Robert Smith with 3 strikes in a row. This is the Brunswick Pro Circuit Bowling Classic. So Walter Ray Williams Jr. down in this match to Robert Smith, who started off this second game with 3 in a row.
Same way he started out the opening match against Dale Eagle. Now up on lane 32, looking for his 4th consecutive strike of the second match. Here it comes. There it is.
There it goes. 4 in a row for our 5th seeded player. No player has won from that 5th spot this year.
Let's take a look. Watch the head pin. It's going to go this way and then that way. Here she comes. That's the friend of this man, Robert Smith. He knows he's made a good shot, and now he knows he struck. Look at the smile on that face.
Heading into the 5th frame, nothing but strikes for Smith.
Got to be careful about your speed on this lane, and he got slow on it. It's the 3, the 6, the 10. Not only was he slow, but you can see him making the motion as if he elbowed the ball. The ball's going to cut right through the heart. Take a look at the 3, 6, 10. It's just going to stand there. Everything else goes. Fortunate not to leave a split, but a spare that is not easy. And Robert Smith, if he has one problem, there it is.
That didn't hook.
Wow.
Okay.
He was surprised. He said the ball didn't hook. We take a look. That's a harder surface ball, Phil. It does not have as much friction on the lane, and it just hangs out there and leaves the 3-pin. And here comes Walter trying to take advantage.
And Walter does just that. Player of the year, he's the front runner, 29 titles. He has 30 second place finishes. And there's a look at player of the year race.
Well, he has all the stats going his way right now. And Parker Bone, what a great year you've had. But even with a win next week, I really think Walter Ray Williams Jr. is once again going to be PBA Player of the Year.
That would be a 5th time for Player of the Year honors.
Unbelievable ringing 10 for Walter Ray. And you know, the great ones seem to they take advantage when they have a break. Walter got the break. He made the great shot, but Watch the 6-pin as it goes around.
Well, he started out with a strike, then 10-pin, strike, 10-pin, strike, another 10-pin.
Still only down by 15 pins, courtesy of the open frame by Robert Smith.
Walter Ray converts the 10-pin spare. He averaged 251 the final 6 games of qualifying to move him to the top position. Later would settle for that number 3 spot. And Robert Smith up by 15.
Have to put it behind you, start a new string of strikes.
All right, it's starting to get a little dry on the air. No problem.
Robert, speaking of the oil on the lane, starting to dry up a little bit. He'll make a little bit of move to the left, try and catch a little more oil early. You can see the good TV pair average at 237. He throws hard and straight, makes the 4-pin.
Smith, first-team All-American at San Diego State University in '94. Has all the credentials. Just hasn't won a PBA title as of yet. Could this be the night? Up by 15.
He's a young player with a lot of talent. Certainly has the game to win. It will happen. It's just a matter of when. And it could be this evening.
Good move. Good move, baby.
Moved out on the lanes a little bit, and he has a strike in the 7th. So Robert Smith up in this second match. We're at North Rock Lanes in Wichita, Kansas, side of the Brunswick Circuit Pro Bowling Classic. Now word from the PBA. Walter Ray loves this lane, has had some problems on the other one, 31.
Well, a lot of 3s tonight. 3 consecutive strikes on lane 22, 3 consecutive 10-pins on 31. He's trying for his 3rd consecutive title. We'll wait and see. Now there's a break for Walter.
Thank you.
Got the 4 and the 9.
Take a look at the pinfall. There's the 4-pin and the 9-pin. Little kick of the 4, little nudge of the 9.
All right.
We see that Walter approves. But can he knock down the 10-pin on lane 31? This could tighten the matchup.
Boy, look at that. 848 games old this year. And a double. Finally hit lane 31, and now it's a 5-pin game.
And now the pressure's on the youngster. And how will he react? We take a look at Walter Ray Williams making a classic shot. Watch the 10-pin this time. It's going away in a hurry.
Robert Smith, first real pressure situation of the tournament. 93 U.S. Amateur champ.
And he made the move inside, Phil. He moved left on the lane, caught more oil, and the power strike just obliterating the 10-pin with the messenger.
When the amateur out there moves left, I mean, it's to catch more oil?
Exactly. The lane has a higher concentration of oil in the center. And generally you try and play outside early, but as the lane dries out, you have to move inside, catch a little more oil in the heads. The heads are the first part of the lane. Robert Smith made the correct move. Let's see if he can do it again on lane 31. Well, you kind of live by the sword, die by the sword. Power players get a lot of power strikes, but also come behind the head pin. The ball's late driving back. The 2-8-10 stands, and for Robert Smith, all he can do is just try and get 9. Chances of making this are very, very slim. He's looking at the scores right now to see what the situation is. I think if I was Robert, I would just take the 9 pins, not lose any more count. Come on back.
Well, the percentage is not with him, and he was unable to convert 190 through 9 for Robert Smith. Walter Ray working on a double. This match is even.
Robert Smith had the opportunity to take a big lead with that strike in the 9th frame. Right now, as you said, all even. Walter Ray, is this the first lead of the match? Is anybody better than Walter Ray Williams? Well, the answer is certainly no. He hasn't won this game yet, but now he controls his destiny as we see Walter Ray Williams throw a beautiful shot on lane 32. High flush in the pocket, and the reaction from Walter. Is this important to him? Oh.
Coming up in the 10th frame now. Marshall, what does he need?
Well, right now, the best Robert Smith can do is 220. With a strike here, Walter Ray would virtually shut him out.
Come on. Gee.
Yeah,
Come on, man.
4 10-pins on that left-hand lane. Walter's keeping track as well. Spare strike gives Walter 219. Robert Smith would need 3 strikes in the 10th to win by 1 pin, Phil.
The players just don't miss single pin spares out here on tour.
Well, this one doesn't. But he gave us a look. He's going, wait a minute, I had it all the way. Come on.
So possible 219 should Walter Ray get a strike, and it's amazing to me. He's won 23 titles since 1993.
Yeah, he's good. Walter needs every pin he can possibly get here. Every pin very, very critical. That forces Robert Smith to go up and throw 3 strikes against Walter Ray Williams Jr. in order to advance.
So 219 for Walter Ray. Robert with a 220 for 3 strikes. Beat him by a pin. And for Robert Smith, he's had a 2nd place finish. Lost to Walter Ray earlier this year in Coram, New York, 214 to 188. And a 4th place finish at the AC Delco Classic in Lakewood. Needs all 3.
Same mistake he made on lane 31. Ball a little bit.
Doing something strange to me.
A little bit inside of his target. A lot of speed. Walter Ray Williams is your champion. You can see Walter. There's the reaction. He's just probably saying, phew, thank you.
So a nice effort by the rookie, Robert Smith, but Walter Ray, a 20-pin winner, 219 to 199. And we'll be back with the semifinal match. Walter Ray Williams Jr. going up against Ryan Shafer in the Brunswick Circuit Pro Bowling Classic here in Wichita. We'll be back with that coming up. And we're back. Walter Ray Williams Jr. doing it in the clutch at the end of the ball game, 219 to 199 over Robert Smith. And Walter Ray Williams now will take on Ryan Shafer, Norm Duke, on top, the player to beat. Now for our Score More with Brunswick tip, and Marshall talks about cosmic bowling this week.
We've seen a variety of changes on the PBA Tour this season, from the updated format and new arena setup to the all-new Gold Pro pins. But the professional tour isn't the only thing to see change in the world of bowling. The recreational side is realizing modernization as well. Welcome to the world of cosmic bowling. Conceptually, the game is the same. There are still 10 pins at the end of the lane, and you're still trying to bowl 300. The environment, however, is dramatically different. You'll be bowling in a club-like setting with music and pins that glow in the dark, ranging in color from lime green to hot pink, while you might even have a disco ball spinning from above. It's the same game with a whole new spin. While the competitive tour is here to stay, recreational bowling continues to prosper. As a matter of fact, bowling is the #1 participatory sport in America, with over 55 million people bowling per year. The bottom line, whether you're a cosmic bowler or still appreciate the more traditional game, there's an option for you.
And Ryan Shafer getting ready to take on the game's top player, Walter Ray Williams Jr. There he is. We'll have that match coming up in a minute.
Welcome back to Wichita, the Brunswick Circuit Pro Bowling Classic. We're just about ready to get started on our 3rd match, but before we do, our tournament leader, Norm Duke. And Norm, the hot man is Walter Ray Williams Jr. You've got a chance maybe to bowl against him next game. How do you feel about that?
You know, he's Walter Ray. He's the greatest in the world, and I would expect to bowl him, Marshall. And that's the way it is. I want to beat the best in the world.
All right, well, you're no slouch yourself. You won a couple of weeks ago in Rochester, so you're on a hot streak yourself. You feel good about your chances, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm very confident about it. But I haven't put together near the numbers that Walter Ray has. I know I'm an underdog, but I'm ready. I'm hyped.
All right, Norm, good luck to you. Back up to you, Phil.
All right, thanks, Marshall. We're just about set for the semifinal match. Walter Ray Williams Jr. going up against Ryan Shafer. Shafer looking for his first win. There's some other finalists this week. Jimmy Davis, part-time player who was a former Philadelphia Phillies draft pick. And Dave D'Entremont rolled one of 8 300 games this week. finished in 15th place. Curtis Odom, former Steve Nagy Sportsmanship Award winner, one of the most prolific non-champions on tour. Also, Mitchell Beasley, bowling in just his 4th PBA tournament this year, making his first match play appearance. George Branham, 1993 Tournament of Champions winner, and David Husted, part-time player on tour, but always bowls very well, from Milwaukee.
Ricky Schisler, he hasn't bowled in quite a few years on tour, but an impressive showing. And Steve Wilson making a second match play appearance for the fall. His wife is due in February with their first child. There's the great one, Brian Voss, this week's defending champion. You saw him beat Walter Ray Williams in that shootout for 10 grand, and John Bowerly had a good week. Mike Miller, disappointing in the top 24, finishing 24th, and Paul Fleming, he's your alternate.
So we're ready. Walter Ray Williams Jr. hit the pocket all 11 shots in match 2. Deadeye right there, and he is now advanced to this semifinal match against Ryan Shafer.
That wasn't exactly what I had in mind.
Well, and an early opening for Ryan Shafer.
Well, he had some problems on 31. 2 of 6 strikes. Only 32, 5 of 5, but was in the pocket. Just couldn't carry the 10-pin.
And Walter won't spend a lot of time beating himself up over that bad shot, as we get our first look at Ryan Shafer.
5'8", 150 pounds, 32 years old, from Elmira, New York.
Really winds it up. Take a look at this delivery.
That hurt my wrist.
Well, he rolls the ball in a similar fashion to Robert Smith with a lot of hook. Goes the ball a little bit slower. Take a look at his 24 events this year. He's got 20 cashes, 15 top 24s. Really has become a very consistent player on the PBA Tour.
6 regional titles. Still looking for that elusive first PBA win. And should he win, he would then be eligible for next week's Tournament of Champions.
And he's the last one of the 3 that weren't eligible.
I was going to say he was a bit stoic at first, and then he comes out the gate with that second strike, and hops giving a jump.
Power strike and emotion from Ryan Shafer. So important to get off to a good start, especially when you're bowling against the #1 player. This was his good lane. And I believe that lane's starting to hook a little more. That surprised Walter as the ball hooked high into the pocket, tripping out the 4-pin.
Well, it was on the nose on 31 and now high on 32.
Take a look as he gets the friendly trip with a 4-pin.
Come on. Back in the pocket.
I think right now he's saying thank you.
8 300 games this week. Walter Ray tossed a 300. There you see his average, 219. But Walter now has 6 300s this year, tying Danny Wiseman for the lead.
And it didn't look as if Walter moved in. Looked like he went with more projection down the lane. Got the late carry of the 10-pin. Very fortunate for Walter. Watch, the ball is going to be thrown further out onto the lane, almost out to the dots. The 6-pin will do the damage on the 10-pin very late. 11-pin lead for Ryan Shafer.
Third frame. Well, pretty looking shot, able to loft it out a little bit and really got it to come on the back end. 3 strikes for Shafer.
Really kind of a fortunate strike. Phil watches the ball drives through the pocket. Take a look at the 9-pin. Ball never comes close to the 9-pin. Something else flips it out. You see the guys with the big power, with the big hooking release. You leave a lot of solid 9s. Ryan Shafer on this pair only averaged 256.5. He likes it here.
Shafer up in the 4th.
Oh my God. Did that happen to me? We take another look at this shot. Ball goes over the 15th board out to about 4. Now watch, the 10 gets knocked out. But what touches the 7-pin?
Well, you need a few breaks if you're going to be throwing the champ. And Walter Ray now going to step back after
Another ball here.
an open. And then he doubled.
You just heard Walter say he was going to a different ball, going for a different look on this lane. That hooked real early. Right now,
I should have thrown the ball. Man, where'd that hook come from?
you don't see this very often. Walter Ray Williams Jr. lost. This ball will hook immediately when it hits the lane. Goes right towards the nose, and there's really no hope. Fortunate just to leave the 6 and 10.
And he picks it up, voted 4 times PBA Player of the Year, 1986, 93, 96, and 97. Looks like he's going to add another one here in 98.
Now, right now, Walter needs to get himself back on track and may need a little help from Ryan Shafer as well. Better shot. I talked to the players earlier before they started bowling the competition this evening, and they said the left lane had a little more hang to it. Didn't hook back quite as strong. That's evident right now as we see Walter coming in high on lane 32, and no problem on lane 31.
Ryan Shafer defeated Walter Ray Williams Jr. in match play.
Did it in a big way
this week.
Hurry back.
So Ryan Shafer started off this game with a quiet 5 in a row.
The familiar style becoming more familiar with each strike. Look how it just comes back so beautifully right in the middle of the pocket.
Shafer.
And, excuse me, Phil, the confidence right now with Ryan Shafer. Got to be feeling really good. Not only does he start out with the first 5, but the great Walter Ray Williams Jr. has only 1 double and an open frame in his first 5.
Shafer finished 3rd a couple of times this year in Las Vegas at the Showboat Invitational and at the U.S. Open. How about that? And now a 300 game worth $20,000, courtesy of the PBA.
I guess we can talk about it. Watch this delivery. Look at how far the ball goes to the right. It just drives back so hard, and a very, very excited Ryan Shafer.
Walter struggling.
Well, it looks as if instead of Walter winning his 3rd consecutive singles tournament, it's going to be his 1st consecutive 3rd.
Williams to go for the 4-pin here in the 6th frame. No problem. He's on pace to break the single season average record set by Mike Albee in 95. Albee averaged 225.49. Walter Ray at 225.63, and that's quite a few.
Well, that's a lot of strikes. He's going to have to bowl very, very good next week because he could easily drop underneath that pace with just a little bit of an off week or a tough lane condition.
Trying to put some pressure on Ryan Shafer and gets a strike in the 7th.
Now, Ryan Shafer right now working at a 250 pace. Walter Ray Williams, the best he can do is 237, so he'll need help from Ryan Shafer in the, with an open frame of some kind.
Shafer just 1 and 9 on TV with a 208 average and 9 appearances. All strikes through 6. A 3-6-10.
Threw the ball slow. Didn't get the proper projection. Ball hooks early, and it's just going to be the 3-6-10. The ball is well left of his intended target. This is the same spare that Robert Smith missed a couple of games ago.
Ryan started off 7th, fell to 11th, then picked it back up. Made the TV show. Norm Duke, the man on top this week.
Oh, and he just hangs on. Ball was hooking a little bit high, but it did get the 3-6 in the 10.
A 50-pin lead for Ryan Shafer over Walter Ray Williams Jr.
Now the 300 game is gone, Ryan. The task right now, throw marks, strikes or spares, anything. That's all he needs. See if he can come back after the errant shot in the 7th frame. Get his form back. That looked a little bit better.
And the result, a 10-pin.
Yeah, good shot. Just the ball hooks back so late that the 6-pin does not have a chance to drive into the 10. We'll see it from the pin angle. 6-pin goes into the channel. Got the messenger, but well in front of the 10-pin.
Best finish. Finished 3rd twice this year. Ryan Shafer picking up the 10-pin. Walter Ray can still shoot a 237. Not out of this match here in the semifinal game. of the Brunswick Circuit Pro Bowling Classic here in Wichita. But Ryan Shafer leads by 49. Walter Ray can strike out here for 237.
Now he's going to make another move on the approach. He's moved well in, well left on the lane, and then the ball doesn't hook up, and he leaves the 2 and the 8, and that pretty much do it for Walter's bid for 3 in a row.
The lanes change.
That's a, you know, a lot of the people out there watching, Phil, don't understand exactly how fast the lanes can change. You see Walter with a 300 game this week. His 6th of the year ties him for the most in a low game of 183.
I'll take that.
But the lanes do make a fast change, and you have to be really watching and seeing the warning signs for the lanes changing. If maybe your ball comes a little high, leaves a 4-pin, don't wait around to make the adjustment. Go ahead and move in a little bit.
The mental preparation Norm Duke is going through right now. I think he expected maybe to face Walter Ray. Now he's going to take on Ryan Shafer. It doesn't matter.
Oh, absolutely not. No, it doesn't matter. I think Norm would probably like to bowl Walter and win against Walter, but Norm just wants to win, as do all the players out here.
Walter Ray up in the 9th.
Well, take a mental picture of this. You won't see it very often. Walter Ray Williams comes in light on lane 32, then comes in high on lane 31, and it is going to be nothing but 3rd place for Walter. And still, what a great fall segment he's had.
3 first-place finishes, a 2nd place finish. He lost to Brian Voss in that scintillating match. What was it, 265, 257 in Virginia Beach?
Just a great final we had there.
Shafer has this match in hand. Turn out the lights. Able to get 9 out of the 10. Here's my partner now with another Dexter footwork of the pros.
We take a look at Ryan Shafer. Watch how he gets the ball started in the 2nd step. Heel toe, kind of plants at the line and raises up a little bit. But certainly gets the job done. Got it done against Walter.
That is Dexter's footwork of the pros. Ryan Shafer will take his Dexters to the title match against Norm Duke. Duke with 15 career championships. And Walter Ray, a 3rd place finish, but he's had 5 first place finishes this year, 2 2nd place finishes, and now 2 3rd place finishes.
Right now, Shafer just trying to keep himself in sync for the next game. He knows he's gotten past Walter Ray Williams Jr., and in a 1-game match, it's not as big an upset as it seems.
Shafer, an avid Yankees fan, and I'm sure he was smiling a little bit earlier on this year.
Probably wondering if the Yankees are going to be able to re-sign a good percentage of their players. They just signed Brocious, who's an Oregon boy.
Well, Steinbrenner has a ton of money. An errant shot, but Ryan's going to shoot 240 plus, and Walter Ray can strike out for 191.
He'll give it all of his energy. Try and make a good finish. He never quits.
Walter Ray with a strike. The only positive, I guess, for Walter Ray is not a 2nd place finish, because it's one of his goals to have more 1st and 2nds. Right now he has 29 1st and 30 2nd place finishes. Walter Ray bows out, the king. Up next, though, Ryan Shafer going up against the Duke, Norm Duke, in our title match. Ryan Shafer now moves on to the title match. 245 to 191 over Walter Ray Williams Jr. So Ryan Shafer now goes up against Norm Duke, our top-seeded player. And here on the fall tour, a couple of weeks left. The Japan Cup 98 in Tokyo. That'll be Saturday, 5 Eastern, 2 Pacific. Then the Brunswick World Tournament of Champions, Overland Park, Kansas, November 22nd, 1 o'clock Eastern, 10 Pacific. So the Japan Cup coming up later on this Saturday, and then the World Tournament of Champions the following Sunday. A couple of big tournaments.
Well, the biggest tournament of Champions, there's the tournament chairperson, Frank DeSocia, a very good friend of pro bowling, and a pretty good buddy of mine, too. Always good to come to Wichita and see Frank.
So we're just about ready for this title match. Shafer going up against Duke in the Brunswick Circuit Pro Bowling Classic for the title. Duke 15 championships, and he won just a couple of weeks ago. Ryan Shafer still working on that first title. Temple going up against Wake Forest immediately following Pro Bowling here, so stay tuned for that. That ought to be a great game.
Ought to be a super game.
I'll be watching. So they're chanting Duke here. 5'5", 34 years of age, out here 15 years from Claremont, Florida. What a beautiful style.
Norm is very, very smooth.
And North Rock Lanes will host the National Intercollegiate Championships April 20th through the 24th. To see some great collegiate bowlers.
Well, Wichita, home of the Wichita Shockers, Wichita State Shockers, probably the #1 college bowling program in all of the country. Look out. Ooh, comes in just a little high. Trips, gets most of them, doesn't quite trip out the 4-pin. You heard Walter say in the last game, he can't believe how fast these lanes are changing, and the bowlers need to constantly make the adjustments. Ryan Shafer right now certainly was lined in the first 6 frames of the last game, but right now he's doing a little bit of fishing, and that probably bodes well for Norm Duke. But Norm Duke, bowling his first match today, he's getting a feel of him right now as well.
So Shafer starts off this match with a spare. Kind of interesting to note, this year the player who finishes the title match first is 16-5.
Do you think the guys know that when they make their choices?
I found it interesting.
I'm not sure Ryan Shafer or Norm Duke even are aware of that stat. I certainly wasn't. I'm glad you told me, Phil.
Shafer clobbered Walter Ray 245 to 191. The last match.
Looking for his first strike of the title match. Hang on, and that's a little high, and look at that, the 4-9. Ball drives right through the pocket. It does hit the pocket, but as you can see, comes in just a little too high, and there's the 4 and the 9, and there's no help. Almost trips out the 9-pin. Tough break on a very good shot. Needs to get the ball to the left of the 4-pin, drive it into the 9, certainly makeable. Got too much of the 4-pin, and it's an open frame for Ryan Shafer and Norm Duke with an early present, a 13-pin lead, and he's only thrown 1 shot.
Duke steps up in the second frame. Won 6 of 8 matches, averaged 246 last night to secure that top spot. He's cashed his 16 of 22 events.
Oh, so smooth. What a great shot. And look at the way he manages his emotions. He's not going to get too excited too early. I know right now his wife, Karen, his son, Brandon, are probably excited. Back in Florida, Claremont, Florida.
He only dipped to 7th. That was after round 3. Then got it back. 5th, 4th, and qualified 1st. Up in the 3rd frame. From the top seed, Norm is 3 and 4, but he's averaging 234. I think he might take a 234 game right now.
Oh my.
Whoa, what a break for Norm Duke.
What a very, very good break for Norm Duke. Take a look. The ball's going to come in high in the pocket. And the 4-pin gets tripped. And then the 10-pin gets tripped by the same pin that got the 4-pin. A little double duty, and Norm Duke is surprisingly thrilled as Ryan Shafer is up on lane 32, 3rd frame of the match.
Got it out. Able to pick out the 10-pin.
Important for Ryan to keep working hard. This ball's going to come from left field as the 6-pin just barely nudges out the 10.
Ryan's never finished any higher than 3rd in a PBA tournament, so.
Well, regardless of what he does, his best finish to date, but he certainly would like to make his first appearance in the championship match a victory. For 2 in a row on lane 31.
So Shafer not about to quit. Duke has started off the title match with 3 in a row. A 300 game in this title match worth $25,000. So Shafer has come back now with a double. for Norm Duke.
I talked to Norm Duke last night after it was over, and I asked him about the chance to lead the tournament. As we take a look, watch the 6-pin. It's going to do the damage on the 10. Great shot from Norm Duke. Norm said, I want to be the leader. I love leading the tournament. It puts me in the title match. It gives me one more shot, another shot at 300. And this man believes it's his destiny to eventually shoot 300 on television. Will it happen today? Well, we'll sit around and watch.
Oh, right off his hand, he knew it was in the pocket. And Norm Duke has 5 in a row. Our tournament leader. And our tournament leader this year, 13-9 in title matches. Last year, a dismal 8-19 as Ryan Shafer up in the 5th, working on a double.
Down by 43 pins, needs to keep the pressure on Norm. And there's the soft 10, and unfortunately for Ryan Shafer, he does not get the 3rd strike in a row. The deficit becomes 44 pins. Really, in a must situation, Ryan Shafer needs to convert the 10-pin in the 5th frame and then immediately start striking again in the 6th.
Picks up the 10-pin. Ryan voted the 1987 PBA Rookie of the Year. 6 regional titles. Still looking for that first national title. He's been out here 12 years. Halfway through this game, down 44 to Norm Duke.
That's way wide. It makes the turn back, but he didn't like that shot off his hand. The ball scooted off to the right too early. By the time the ball gets back in the pocket, it's coming at such a deep angle, the 6-pin does not have a chance to drive back out and get the 10-pin. You'll see it just lay there. Too extreme.
Shafer's cashed 20 in 20 of 24 tournaments. Very consistent player as he picks up the 10-pin.
And a much better spare shooter than he used to be. When Ryan Shafer first came out, he admittedly was not a very good spare shooter. Here goes the Duke.
5 in a row to start this title match. Duke up in the 6th. He's halfway home.
I'll tell you,
just about perfect.
That was another beautiful shot from Norm Duke, and you can bet everything you have. Norm Duke is thinking about 300 right now. We take a look. Look at the balance at the foul line. The ball smoothly rolling down the lane. Gets lodged into the pocket. 10 pins are gone.
Duke leads by 55 through 6 frames. Trying to make it 7.
Halfway to 25 grand.
Kicks out the 10-pin. 5 more to go for $25,000 extra dollars. Plus his 16th PBA title. Determination. The look of a champion.
Well, he's forgotten all about winning this tournament and is thinking nothing except more strikes. Let's shoot the 300. Ryan Shafer, 235 possible. He'll need them all. That's a start.
That's unfortunate because in the 5th and 6th frames, he left a couple of 10 pins, or he'd be working on a 5-bagger. Not to be. And Norm Duke got a couple of breaks early on.
Yes, he did. I mean, and 3 out of our 4 games have gone just this way, with one bowler starting out with a lot of strikes and the other bowler struggling a little bit.
Shafer up in the 8th frame.
Solid 10. Unfortunate. That's going to really be just about it for Ryan Shafer. He really needed that shot to have any chance. Right now, all he can do is 215. Norm Duke is, he got the first 7 in a row and is in total control. And don't you go anywhere. Norm Duke is going for 25,000 bonus for 300.
Duke up in the 8th frame. Got the first 7 strikes. Duke 11th on the all-time money list for the PBA. 1,350,000.
11th in climbing.
Trying to make it 8.
A little faster. He got faster with that ball.
And a 10-pin. Jumped right over it.
He's still happy with the way he's bowled. I could see it off his hand. The ball was just a little faster. You'll see that the 6-pin go around the 10, and for Norm Duke, that's got to be heartbreak. Please strike. Oh. Great spare shooter. Great player. Great player, Norm Duke.
Up by 64, so it looks like Norm Duke is going to pick up win number 16.
Well, Norm Duke, player of destiny for a 300 on television. It won't happen today, but don't count him out. If he thinks he can do something, this is a man who bowled 3 consecutive 300 games in a PBA tournament.
Average 218 on the TV fair. Going to do a lot better here in the championship match. Save the best for last. Career TV record of 47 wins, 40 losses, 1 tie with a 224 average, making his 58th career TV appearance. You talked about that ABC 900 series. Evidently, they were in 2 different blocks, so did not recognize that 900, but I sure.
Well, I did. All Norm needed was 4 pins on that first ball to win. He got 7. That does not matter. He's your champion. So take a look at shooting the spare. He's going to chop right through, leaving the 5-pin. But for Norm Duke, I don't think he really cares right now. He's very pleased to win this tournament.
And Duke is the king here in Wichita. Duke has won his 16th PBA title here in the Brunswick Circuit Pro Bowling Classic. Ryan Shafer up in the 9th. It's got to be tough for a player, and I'm sure you've had this happen to you a few times. You got to finish out the match.
It's difficult, and for Ryan Shafer, I'm sure he had higher aspirations for his first title match, but at least he got there and should help him in the future to get back.
Able to mix him up, a strike in the 9th.
He tickled him.
You certainly gain experience from being in a title match.
Oh, there's no doubt, and he, you know, he just got it handed to him. Norm Duke started out with the first 7 strikes in a row. Ryan Shafer had an early open, and the game was really out of the wood early. You know, the only part of the game that was in doubt was whether Norm Duke could continue throwing strikes, the solid 10 in the 8th, and that was pretty much the match.
Up in the 10th, first shot. Leaves a 4-pin.
Or does he? All right. Tries to knock it down, but
so is Brunswick gold pins.
Flat bottom gold pins, tough to knock down.
I like the look of Ryan Shafer, and again, he's cashed in 20 of 24 tournaments this year, always there. Doesn't seem to get too excited, you know, or suffer too much of a letdown.
Well, I think the word to use for Ryan is maturity. You know, he's 32 years old now. Been out here for quite a number of years, 12 years on the tour, and he's certainly grown up. You know, he came out here as a 20-year-old and was kind of wild and all over the place, threw a lot of strikes, threw a lot of opens. Now he's a quality touring player.
Final ball for Shafer, 195, so he finishes on an up note. Norm Duke with 225 in the 9th. Oh, they're chanting Duke.
He wants to give him a good finish. There's the solid 10 again. That's all right, big deal. You know what? Norm Duke at 5'5", 123 pounds, not a large man in stature, but on the Pro Bowlers Tour, he's one of the giants.
And he has won the 98 Brunswick Circuit Pro Bowling Classic. We talk an awful lot about Walter Ray here on the fall tour. He's done very well, but Norm Duke had a nice fall tour, and Leno Monticelli a nice fall tour.
It really was a three-way domination between those 3 players. Norm with his 2nd win of the fall tour.
Duke with a strike. Will fire 245. There's a look at that beautiful trophy that will be soon awarded to Duke. And it is a 245 for Norm Duke, the winner of the Brunswick.